Well, ladies and gentlemen, do you know who this is? Do you know who it is?
That's Ted Bundy.
That's Ted Bundy.
America's most notorious serial killer.
And he was caught right here in this area in 1978.
Basically like Jack the Ripper of America. It's crazy.
And we're gonna try to show you how this went down. What this guy did is he killed over 30 people in like a 4-year span across 7 states. Escaped prison, wasn't like 2 or 3 times, something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if a lot of you guys watch Netflix. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys do, but you know, they just released some documentaries of him, some of his tapes, and interviewing him and talking to him about his killing spree, you know, that he was on, and telling the story of how it went down and why he did it. And I definitely recommend y'all watching it though. It caught my eye, it shook me to the core, and if you're into stuff like that, in history, I definitely recommend you watching.
That's Kiante, by the way.
Yeah.
But he killed over 30 people and somehow escaped from way off on the west coast somewhere and ended up in Tallahassee, where he tried to leave his life of crime behind him. But you know what they say, people who get their high from stuff like that, they just can't control themselves. He tried to start a new identity and everything, and
it didn't work how you were planning on, you know, it didn't work how you wanted it to. But I was watching a documentary last night, and it basically, like, it shook me to the core, y'all. And it's just one of those things where it's just, how can you be a human being and do that to like some girls or women? Like, he did the most vicious things that I think anybody could ever do on this earth. Like, it's
terrible stuff.
It's terrible. But at the same time, it's like, you know, it's history. It's part of America.
And since we live in Pensacola, it's part of our city's history too. And so in Tallahassee, he tried to get a job as a construction worker, got a new name, but he ended up breaking into, I believe it was an FSU sorority house, and killed 3 or 4 women in one night. And he hit the road again after that. The report I read last night said he was heading to Mobile, Alabama, and stopped here in Pensacola because he wanted to take one more. And that leads us to where we are right now. So this building over here, this brick building, used to be the restaurant Oscar Warner's, which was like a famous restaurant here in Pensacola and all of that. Ted was hiding out, parked somewhere in this area, and there were these homes and stuff back in here.
This is a homeless guy, guys.
Yeah. But he was parked right in here, looking into these homes, trying to find his last victim. And it was about 1 o'clock in the morning. He pulled out on the main road over here, Cervantes Street, at 1 o'clock in the morning. And about that time, a local Pensacola police officer thought, well, you know, that's suspicious. He's leaving this restaurant that I'm sure had been closed for hours for the day at that point, at 1 o'clock in the morning. And when the officer ran his tag number, it came back as stolen. Kiante had his name tag on from where we just were. See, I made sure to take mine off. You did.
Yes.
This is staying in the final cut, by the way.
Okay.
But so he pulls out up here, and they run the tag number. It comes back stolen, and he brings Ted into custody. He had no idea what he had. And he thought he just had some guy. He gave him a fake name. And eventually, I believe it was like 2 days later, he confessed to like all the killings and all the murders.
And I think it was like 30, it was around in that range, but he killed over like 30 something people, women. And it was bad, you guys. Like, I heard on one of the documentaries I was watching last night, he buried some of his victims out in his hometown, out in the forest, and still to this day they haven't recovered any remains of the women.
he was pretty messed up. But yeah, his final arrest, where they finally brought Ted Bundy to justice, happened right in this general area here. It's a famous piece of Pensacola lore. I will say this, if you want to come out here and see this for yourself, that's fine. But I do recommend coming in the daytime. It's not necessarily in the best of areas.
During the night, definitely.
Yeah, definitely not during the night, but if you want to come during the day, don't come alone either.
Yeah, don't come alone at night.
No.
Not to scare you or anything, but it's
It's a safety thing. I don't want anyone being like, I got the idea to come out here at night. From me, I'm saying don't do it at night, and if you do come in the day, don't come alone either.
Yeah. But yeah, right over here, this is just a part of where history was made, you know. Yeah. America's most notorious serial killer, Ted Bundy.
Right down, right here.
Right here.
The article I read last night called it Bundy's Last Stop, and it was right here. And that's why this building over here we were just at, this I believe it's like an antique mall or something, has the murals on the side of Ted getting arrested and his mug shot, him in the electric chair, little grave marker right there. To me, that's kind of interesting, because it's like, it is a running business, and I get you're trying to embrace the culture, the history of the area, but is that really the best way to go about it? I don't know. It is interesting. Like, I'm surprised somebody hasn't like started like Ted Bundy ghost tours through here.
Probably.
I probably just gave somebody $1 million idea.
For real.
They're gonna like build something like right over there.
But yeah, it's crazy how somebody can be so obsessed with doing something like that. Like, I don't know how somebody would or can live with themselves by doing that. But he was different. Like, honestly, like, the dude fired his attorneys during court, trying to take his
He thought he could do it better.
Yeah, he thought he could do it himself, you know, and he still wound up in jail and death penalty.
Put him in the electric chair.
Fried, cooked.
Now, what's even crazier about this guy is he told the detective in charge of his case here in Pensacola, the detective's last name was Chapman. I'm not sure on his first name. But the article I read last night, which was put out by WEAR, one of the top local news outlets in the area, said the guy's last name was Chapman, the detective in charge of his case. And Mr. Chapman, Detective Chapman, said that Ted had confessed to him that he was addicted to killing people. And you just can't go get help for that. Like, what are you going to tell a psychiatrist?
Like, and what's crazy, you know, Ted had a degree. His name was like Theodore or something like that.
Right.
But he had a degree in psychology, which kind of blew my mind. So it's like you're learning about the human mind and everything, and he just, you know, what was really going on in his mind the whole time.
And that probably explains how he was able to stay so charismatic and all of that through all of his court trials and stuff. He understood the psychology of getting people on his side. Yeah. The logic may have been if he could get enough public fanfare, they would let him go.
And see, when he was in court and everything too, he would try to play games with the jury, the judge, and everything, and he just wanted to, he would like to stall, you know, and
right.
keep things going, and try to get things his way.
Right.
Like, I know this one time he had to be at court at like 9:30 or 9 o'clock. And he had put tissue in the toilet when he was in jail, and he put it in the lock so one of the cops couldn't unlock the cell and get him out in time for court. So, you know, he just took it upon himself to do whatever, stall. Basically, he just thought he had it planned out. I'm not going to go to jail. I'm not going to go to prison or death penalty, whatever the case was with him at the time. He thought he was not going to get caught.
But he did.
Yeah.
It's so crazy how it happened too, because all I would have had to have done is just like lay low that night, wait till morning to hit the road, and he would have been scot-free.
Indeed.
For then anyway. I believe that when you do stuff like that, when you do evil, you eventually get brought down. So he may have went free for the moment, but I think he would have got caught eventually. But it happened right here in Pensacola. In case you're wondering where this is The main road here is Cervantes, and that's W Street, so you go through that light right there, the intersection at W and Cervantes. Oscar's is on the other side of that white building. This is the antique mall here with the murals on it. So in this general area is where it happened at.
Yep. So, you know, that's basically it, you know, Ted Bundy. That's the story of it, you know.
Yep.
America's
his final arrest. He had been arrested before, booked, escaped, got away.
Yes.
But blah blah blah, words are hard.
Indeed.
One fateful night here in Pensacola, evil was brought to justice.
Yeah.
And this goes to show you, you will get brought down eventually if you play bad games.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can hide, but you can't run forever.
That's right. You have anything else to add?
I mean, go subscribe at my boy Jacob's Adventures.
Yep, Jake the Adventurer right here. Yep.
Go subscribe, you know.
Yep, you'll be seeing more of him. I promised you guys these adventure videos for a while. I'm sorry it took a while, but we're finally doing it. This is the first one.
Yep, just know 2019.
There's gonna be a lot.
It's gonna be a lot.
You want to subscribe?
Please do. And other than that, that's it.
That's it.
Y'all enjoyed it.
Yep.
Ted Bundy.
Arrest site right here in Pensacola. Until next time, don't forget to pray, eat, and kick out at 2. And we'll see you guys down the road. Thanks for watching. Love you all.